Have you ever felt dismissed, like no one really valued your presence or opinions? It's frustrating, isn't it? You might think respect is something people just decide to give or not. But here's the thing, it's not about waiting for respect. With Stoic philosophy, you can take control, transform how others see you, and even how you see yourself. Stick with me, because what you'll learn today isn't just advice. It's the start of a powerful shift in your life. First, let's ask why these situations happen. Most of the time, it's not personal. It's rarely because someone hates you. It's often about people trying to lift themselves up by pulling others down. They think embarrassing you makes them look better. You see this in workplaces, social groups, and even families. It's common, but you can learn to handle it well. Stoicism teaches us something powerful. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you show through your actions. Marcus Aurelius, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means you can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. That's where your strength lies. When someone disrespects you, the first instinct is to react. Maybe you feel like snapping back, but Stoicism encourages you to pause. Take a moment to think, why did they say that? Often, their behavior says more about them than about you. By staying calm, you show that their words don't control you. That calmness can change everything. For example, imagine someone at work mocks an idea you shared. Instead of arguing, you could say, "I see your perspective. Let's discuss how we can make it better together." This approach doesn't escalate the conflict. It shows you're confident and focused on solutions. People respect that kind of calm leadership. But responding to disrespect is just one part of the picture. Stoicism also teaches us to create an environment where people naturally respect us. How? By setting clear boundaries and showing that you know your worth. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, address it directly but respectfully. You might say, "I appreciate feedback, but I find this approach unhelpful. Let's focus on working together positively." This sets a standard for how you expect to be treated. When you handle disrespect with grace, others notice. People are drawn to those who stay calm and grounded under pressure. It sends a strong message. You're not someone who can be easily shaken. This quiet confidence earns more respect than loud reactions ever could. Over time, these small moments add up. When you consistently show self-control and dignity, people begin to treat you differently. You create a reputation for being someone who commands respect without demanding it. This is the power of Stoic principles in action. Handling disrespect is never easy, but it's possible. By staying calm, setting boundaries, and focusing on your own actions, you can navigate these moments with strength. Stoicism gives you the tools to not just get through tough situations, but to grow stronger because of them. Respect comes from within, and when you truly respect yourself, others will follow. First impressions matter more than you might think. They're the foundation of how others perceive you, and surprisingly, it's often less about what you say and more about how you carry yourself. Imagine this, you're at a networking event. Someone enters the room, scans the crowd, and heads straight for you. They extend their hand for a greeting, but instead of standing, you stay seated, give their hand a brief glance, and then shake it half-heartedly. In that moment, you've unintentionally sent a message that you lack confidence and that this interaction isn't important to you. Small actions like this can make a huge difference in how people view you. The Stoics understood this well. They knew that simple gestures, like standing up and maintaining eye contact, are far more than just good manners. These gestures are subtle yet powerful indicators of confidence, self-awareness, and mutual respect. When you rise to shake someone's hand, you're signaling readiness, equality, and recognition of the other person's value. This reflects a key Stoic principle. How you present yourself not only expresses your values, but also shapes how others see you. Let me share a story. I once attended a professional seminar where networking was the main focus. Among the attendees, one individual stood out. Whether he was greeting a senior executive or thanking a waiter for refilling his coffee, he always made it a point to stand up, make eye contact, and engage fully. His actions weren't overdone or forced, but they left a lasting impression. People respected him not because of what he said, but because of how he carried himself. His confidence and sincerity were evident in every interaction, effortlessly earning him respect. In contrast, there was another attendee who stayed seated during every introduction. He didn't mean to appear disinterested. It was simply his habit. Yet, this seemingly minor behavior created an invisible barrier. People unconsciously took him less seriously, even though he was just as capable as everyone else in the room. This highlighted an important truth. Standing up isn't just about politeness. It's a subtle way of valuing the other person while asserting your own worth. The lesson is clear. Rising to greet someone is more than a courteous gesture. It's a statement about how you value yourself and others. This is where Stoicism offers its wisdom. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control. In this case, you can control your behavior, how you present yourself, and the way you communicate your worth through small but impactful actions. Incorporating this lesson into your daily life is simple. Whether you're meeting someone at work, in a cafe, or even on a virtual call, make it a habit to be fully present. Stand up when you greet someone. Maintain steady eye contact. Use your body language to project confidence. These small gestures go a long way in earning respect and demonstrating your own value. They're a reflection of Stoic principles in action, showing how small, intentional actions can have a powerful impact. Remember, first impressions aren't just about how you look. They're about how you convey self-respect, confidence, and the respect you have for others. This is the essence of what Stoicism teaches us. Live with intention, pay attention to the little things, and let your actions define your character. So, the next time you meet someone, rise to the occasion, meet their gaze, and let your actions do the talking. When someone interrupts you in a public conversation, it can be incredibly frustrating. You're making a point, and suddenly, someone jumps in, derailing your thoughts. It's a situation that can leave you feeling flustered and even annoyed. For many, the natural response is to snap back or speak over the interrupter. But reacting that way often makes things worse, escalating the situation and diminishing your composure. So, what's the best way to handle it? This is where Stoic philosophy offers a valuable lesson. True strength doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. In moments like these, a calm, steady gaze can be far more effective than any words. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause for a moment. Look directly at the person who interrupted you with a firm yet composed expression. Let the silence carry the weight of your message. Without saying a word, you're signaling that their behavior was inappropriate and that you won't tolerate being disrespected. This approach not only exudes confidence, but also encourages the interrupter to reflect on their actions. I remember a particular instance at a family dinner. I was in the middle of sharing a funny story when a relative interrupted me to insert their own. At first, I felt awkward and caught off guard. My initial instinct was to jump in and take the conversation back, but instead, I stopped. I looked at them calmly and waited in silence. The pause lasted only a few seconds, but it spoke volumes. They quickly realized their mistake, apologized, and allowed me to continue. The evening carried on without any awkwardness, and I was able to regain control of the conversation without creating unnecessary tension. This strategy is especially effective in group settings or public environments. By staying calm and composed, you naturally command attention. Your presence becomes more noticeable, and there's no need to raise your voice or engage in an argument to reclaim your space in the conversation. Stoicism teaches us not to let the actions of others dictate our emotions. Instead, it encourages us to use tools like body language and calmness to manage situations gracefully while maintaining our dignity. But the steady gaze is just the beginning. Once the interruption has been addressed firmly yet politely, it's important to seamlessly resume your point. A simple phrase like, "Let me pick up where I left off," asserts your right to speak while keeping the conversation respectful. This subtle yet direct approach sends a clear message that communication should be respectful and that interruptions aren't acceptable. The goal isn't to humiliate or embarrass the other person. Instead, it's about setting a clear boundary and showing that respect in communication is non-negotiable. What's truly remarkable about this approach is that it requires no aggression or confrontation. By staying calm, refraining from anger, and letting your actions speak, you convey strength and authority. When others see you handle interruptions with such confidence and poise, they naturally respect you more. They're also more likely to reflect on their behavior, understanding that effective communication requires mutual respect. It's a quiet but powerful way to maintain control and earn the admiration of those around you. Stoicism teaches us that true power comes from maintaining self-control, especially during challenging moments. So, the next time someone interrupts you, don't lose your composure. Stand firm, hold your gaze, and show through your actions that you're someone worth listening to. It's not just about earning respect. It's about affirming your self-worth in a way that leaves a meaningful and lasting impression. When someone in a group of friends tries to humiliate you with a joke, your first instinct might be to feel embarrassed or upset. That's natural, but how you choose to respond will shape the entire situation. Stoic philosophy offers an excellent approach to handling moments like these with poise and control. Once, during a casual meetup with old friends, one of them decided to mock me by sharing an embarrassing story from our school days. I could feel my face flush with heat, and my first impulse was to snap back. Instead, I remembered a key Stoic teaching: what doesn't harm your essence isn't worth your concern. I smiled, acted as though I hadn't quite heard the story, and calmly asked my friend to repeat it, keeping a composed and slightly curious demeanor. What happened next was fascinating. When they retold the joke, it lost its sting. The group, sensing the awkwardness of the moment, started to notice how forced the humor felt. The laughter from earlier faded, and the person telling the story began to stumble, realizing their attempt at humiliation had backfired. This technique, asking someone to repeat their joke, reduces its impact while showing that you remain unshaken. It's a subtle way to expose inappropriate behavior without losing your composure. More importantly, it shifts the power dynamic in your favor without resorting to retaliation or sacrificing your dignity. By responding this way, you send a powerful message. You have inner strength and won't allow minor provocations to control your emotions. This is a core lesson of Stoic philosophy, maintaining calm and self-control in life's small challenges. To use this principle effectively, start by reminding yourself that not every action or word demands an immediate response. Pause, take a breath, and reflect. Then use silence as a tool. Silence isn't passive. It creates space for others to recognize their own mistakes. When you do respond, do so with calm confidence. A simple request like, "Can you repeat that?" spoken neutrally, can have a much stronger impact than engaging in an argument. Every time you remain composed in uncomfortable situations, you not only gain respect from others, but also strengthen your own sense of self-worth. When someone tries to provoke you or make you angry, there's another highly effective psychological technique you can use. Imagine you're at a family gathering, and someone makes a pointed comment about a career setback in front of everyone. It's a sharp remark that cuts deep, touching on a pain you've worked hard to move past. The room goes quiet, and all eyes turn to you, waiting to see how you'll react. In that moment, instead of getting defensive or explaining yourself, take a brief pause. Stay calm, then say something unexpected like, "Hey, does anyone know a good bakery nearby? I've been thinking about bringing something nice for the next get-together." This simple question completely changes the energy in the room. The person who made the comment is left flustered, unsure of how to proceed, while the focus of the conversation shifts to a neutral topic. By doing this, you not only avoid escalating the situation, but also turn an uncomfortable moment into one that works in your favor. Stoicism reminds us that we always have the power to choose our response, no matter the circumstances. This strategy of asking an unrelated question is more than just a clever way to deflect attention. It's a method to regain control over your emotions and the situation. By disrupting the flow of provocation, you redirect attention away from negativity and deny the instigator the satisfaction of upsetting you. This approach is a clear example of practicing Stoic principles, focusing on what you can control and refusing to let external circumstances disturb your peace. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." What makes this technique so effective is its ability to derail negativity without resorting to confrontation. A well-timed, unrelated question throws off the person trying to provoke you, breaking their train of thought and making it difficult for them to continue. At the same time, it allows you to maintain your composure, projecting confidence and self-control. It's a subtle yet powerful way to command respect in any social setting. To make this work, it's crucial to keep your tone and demeanor natural. If your response feels forced or overly deliberate, it might seem insincere. Choose a simple, neutral question or comment that fits seamlessly into the moment. Something about a nearby restaurant, a recent event, or even an observation about the environment. The goal isn't to awkwardly dodge the situation, but to shift the conversation with subtlety and ease. This approach isn't just effective in the moment. It also builds resilience and inner strength over time. By refusing to be drawn into emotional conflicts, you show both yourself and others that you are in control of your reactions. People around you will notice your composure and come to respect you for it. More importantly, this strategy reinforces a fundamental Stoic value, focusing on what you can control. While you can't dictate how others behave, you always have the power to decide how you respond. In doing so, you assert your self-worth and send a clear message that you won't let anyone undermine your peace or dignity. The next time someone tries to provoke or hurt you with their words, remember this technique. Ask a simple, unrelated question and observe how the situation shifts. Not only will you diffuse the tension, but you'll also feel a sense of empowerment by rising above the negativity. Marcus Aurelius said it well. True power comes from maintaining peace of mind regardless of external circumstances. Mastering this approach allows you to face challenges with grace, elevating the respect others have for you in any situation. Sometimes, however, the best way to protect your self-respect is to walk away. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt undervalued, disrespected, or completely ignored? It's an unpleasant experience, but there are moments when choosing to leave is the most powerful option. Stoic philosophy reminds us that respect isn't something you can demand. It's something you build by understanding your own worth. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness or failure. On the contrary, it's a demonstration of strength and self-respect. I remember sitting in the audience during a seminar where a well-known speaker shared their thoughts on confidence and self-respect. They spoke with such clarity about how small actions, like maintaining calm in challenging moments, can completely change how others perceive you. Their message lingered in my mind long after the seminar ended. I kept asking myself, am I truly putting these lessons into practice? That realization was the spark I needed to move beyond inspiration and start taking action. Let me share how I've applied these Stoic principles in my own life to protect my self-worth and command respect. Not long after that seminar, I found myself at a family dinner with relatives I hadn't seen in years. Everyone was chatting and laughing, the atmosphere light and cheerful. Suddenly, someone made a pointed remark about a personal failure I'd been working hard to move past. The comment stung like a sharp jab, and before I could process it, all eyes were on me. My first instinct was to defend myself or snap back. But instead, I paused, took a deep breath, and remembered one of the strategies the speaker had mentioned. I calmly smiled and said, "By the way, does anyone know a good bakery nearby? I've been thinking of picking something up for the next family gathering." My unexpected response caught everyone off guard. The person who made the remark was visibly flustered, unsure of how to continue. The focus of the conversation shifted naturally to the new topic I had introduced. Not only did I avoid escalating the situation, but I also managed to stay composed and preserve my dignity. That moment wasn't about dodging conflict. It was about rising above it and refusing to let someone else's words dictate my emotions. A few months later, I found myself in another challenging situation, this time at a professional networking event. I was sharing an idea I felt passionate about when someone interrupted me mid-sentence. They tried to redirect the conversation, effectively cutting me off. At first, I felt irritated, but I quickly recalled another Stoic technique, the power of a steady gaze. Instead of responding immediately, I paused and looked at them with calm determination. The room grew quiet as everyone turned their attention to the interruption. The person who had cut me off hesitated, realizing they'd overstepped. I waited for a brief moment, then continued exactly where I had left off with, as I was saying. That simple act of self-control shifted the entire energy of the room. The interruption lost its power, and I maintained control of the conversation without raising my voice or losing my temper. Another time, I faced a similar situation during a casual hangout with friends. Someone decided to share an embarrassing story about me from years ago. The group burst into laughter, and I could feel the heat rising in my face. Normally, I might have laughed awkwardly or tried to change the subject, but instead, I chose a different approach. Drawing from Stoic lessons, I leaned into calm curiosity. I smiled and said, "I don't really remember that. Could you tell it again?" They started retelling the story, but this time the humor didn't land the same way. The laughter quickly died down, and the storyteller stumbled through the rest of it before moving on to another topic. That small shift in how I responded didn't just neutralize the moment. It reminded everyone in the room that I wasn't someone who could be easily mocked. These experiences taught me something deeply valuable. Staying calm, pausing, and choosing thoughtful responses are more than just ways to handle uncomfortable situations. They are powerful tools for asserting your self-worth and commanding respect. Stoicism reminds us that our reactions shape how we are perceived and, more importantly, how we perceive ourselves. While we can't control what others say or do, we can always control how we respond. That's where true strength lies. There's another lesson from Stoicism that I've learned to embrace. Sometimes the best way to protect your dignity is to walk away. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt undervalued, disrespected, or completely ignored? It's an unpleasant feeling, but there are moments when leaving is the strongest choice you can make. Walking away isn't about giving up or admitting defeat. It's about recognizing your worth and refusing to stay in a space where it isn't respected. In one instance, I was part of a discussion where my ideas were consistently dismissed. Despite my best efforts to contribute, the group's dynamic left little room for my voice. Instead of pushing harder or growing frustrated, I made the decision to excuse myself. I politely said I had another commitment and left the conversation. Later, I reflected on how empowered I felt by simply walking away. It wasn't a loss. It was a moment of strength, a clear statement that my time and energy deserved to be valued. These moments happen to all of us. They test our patience, our emotions, and our resilience. The key is how we choose to respond. Practicing these Stoic principles has allowed me to face challenges with grace and emerge stronger each time. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about handling it with calm confidence and clear boundaries. You've likely faced similar situations in your life, moments where your composure was tested, and you wondered how to navigate them. The good news is that you have the power to turn these moments into opportunities for growth. Imagine handling every challenge with the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth. Don't let these opportunities slip by. Subscribe to the channel now and take the first step toward mastering these timeless lessons. Together, we can explore how to face life's challenges with poise, clarity, and confidence. Every small step you take today shapes the person you'll become tomorrow. Don't wait to unlock your full potential. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best as you begin this transformative journey.